Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Diana Marcelo, a student of Master in Educational Management, Western Philippine University. I'm here to present to you my research entitled Indicators of Educational Marginalization of Indigenous Learners and Challenges in Mainstreaming Education for Tribal Group Students in Nara. Marginalization is a word that brings a very big changes in one's indigenous learner's life in pursuing their study. It is a social inclusion in educational process in which individuals are blocked from or denied full access to various rights, opportunities, and resources that are normally available to the member of community. Although sometimes it is just their own perception, it brings a lot of changes in their way of how to interact with their peer in school. In municipality of Nara, there are two indigenous groups that are present. This study was conducted at selected elementary school in Nara District, Division of Palawan, with the most number of learners who belong to the Tagbanwa tribe. The descriptive design is specifically the survey method was used in this study. The respondents are composed of 100 indigenous learners and 100 indigenous parents. This study was described in our statement of the problem. The first statement of the problem is what is the demographic profile of IP learners in terms of age, sex, birth order, and status of ethnicity by blood? Number two, what is the demographic profile of IP parents in terms of age, the sex, marital status, ethnicity, number of children, number of persons living in the household, highest educational attainment, employment, family monthly income, and religion. Third, what are the factors which indicate educational marginalization of indigenous learners in terms of personal circumstances, school environment, and cultural practices? Fourth, what are the challenges in mainstreaming education for tribal group students? Fifth, what are the academic performance of IP learners? Sixth, is there a significant relationship between the demographic profile of IP learners and the factors which indicate educational marginalization of the indigenous learners? Seventh, is there a significant relationship between the demographic profile of IB parents and the factors which indicate educational marginalization of the indigenous learners? 8. Is there a significant relationship between the factors which indicate educational marginalization of the indigenous learners and the challenges in mainstreaming education? 9. Is there a significant relationship between the factors which indicate educational marginalization of the indigenous learners and the academic performance of IP learners? 10. Is there a significant relationship between the challenges in mainstreaming education and the academic performance of IP learners? For our conceptual framework, we have here the independent variable, intervening variable, and dependent variable. Under independent variable, there is a socio-demographic profile of the respondents in terms of for the learner, the age, the sex, the birth order, and the ethnicity. For the parents, the age, the sex, the marital status, the ethnicity, number of children, number of persons living in the household, highest educational attainment, employment, family monthly income, and religion. For our intervening variable, the factors which indicate educational marginalization of the indigenous learners, the personal circumstances, the school environment, cultural practices, and the grades for the first quarter and second quarter of the school year 2019-2020. And the dependent variable is the educational marginalization and challenges in mainstreaming education. So for our result, The findings revealed that the mean for age is 12.84. Of the nine listed of for age, grade 6 pupils were mostly at the age of 12 with a frequency of 48 or 48% of the total number of respondents. In terms of sex, they are mostly female with a frequency of 52 or 52%, while 48 or 48% are male. They were mostly first child with a frequency of 33 or 33%. On the status of ethnicity by blood, most of the most of them were pure blood with a frequency of 68 or 68%, while the rest of them are half blood with a frequency of 32 or 32%. The result also revealed that of five ranges listed for age, parents of grade 6 IP learners were mostly at the range of 31 to 40. The majority of the parents are females with a frequency of 83 to 8 or 83%. As to marital status, most of them were married with a frequency of 83 or 83%, and for the household status, mostly were at the range of 6 to 10 with a frequency of 53 or 53%. As to their educational attainment, most of them were elementary graduates with a frequency of 35 or 35%. Most of the parents were self-employed with a frequency of 54 or 54%. For the monthly income, majority of the parents are 64 or 64% have earned less than 5,000, while the rest, 36 or 36%, earned more than 5,000. In religion, most of the respondents, 32 or 32%, were Roman Catholic. Respondents stated that among the factors which indicate educational marginalization among the indigenous learners, personal circumstances such as number of household and illness or sickness got the highest mean of 4.55 and 4.51 respectively. Meanwhile, under the category of school environment, wanting to learn as a response of the learners got the highest mean of 4.6, which is described as totally. As to cultural practices, the learner's response to helping parents for household chores attained the highest mean of 3.82 described as agree. It was revealed that out of eight subjects on academic performance, the overall description of the performance is fairly satisfactory in English with 86.15 mean, math with 84.10 mean, science with 83.77 mean, Araling Panlipunan with 83.18 mean, ESP with 84.15 mean, and MAPE with 83.67 mean. Meanwhile, other subjects such as Filipino has 86.15 mean and EPP with 85.27 mean are very satisfactory. There is a significant relationship between ethnicity by blood and cultural practices as revealed by the p-values less than zero point zero 0.01 level of significance. There is a significant relationship between the demographic profile of IB parents and the factors which indicate educational marginalization in terms of religion for Table 7. It has a significantly correlated to the educational marginalization as event by their p-value variables, of which are less than zero point zero 0.01 level of significance. It also present that the significant relationship between the factors which indicate educational marginalization of IP learners and the challenges in mainstreaming education for IP learners, all of the factors such as personal circumstances, school environment, and cultural practices were not significantly correlated to the other variable, or the challenges in mainstreaming education, as evident by their p-values which are greater than zero point zero 0.01 level. It is also presented that the significant relationship between the factors which indicate educational marginalization of IP learners and the challenges in mainstreaming education for IP learners, All of the factors, such as personal circumstances, school environment, and cultural practices, were not significantly correlated to the other variable or the challenges in mainstream education, as evident by p values, which are greater than zero point zero 0.01 level. It is also discovered that significant relationship between the factors which indicate educational marginalization of IP learners and the academic performance of IP learners, all of the factors such as personal circumstances, school environment, and cultural practices were not significantly correlated to other variable or challenges in mainstreaming education, as evident to their p-values which are greater than zero point zero 0.01 level. It is also showed that there are challenges in mainstream education, no significant effect on the academic performance of indigenous learners. This means that they are not significantly correlated to the other variable or the academic performance, as evident by p-values which are greater than zero point zero 0.01. For our conclusion, there is a significant relationship between the demographic profile of IP parents and the factors which indicate educational marginalization of the indigenous learners in terms of religion. There is a significant relationship between the demographic profile of IP learners and the factors which indicate educational marginalization of the indigenous learners in terms of ethnicity by blood. There is no significant relationship between the factors which indicate educational marginalization of indigenous learners and the challenges in mainstreaming education. Fourth, there is no significant relationship between the factors which indicate educational marginalization of the indigenous learners and the academic performance of IP learners. And fifth, there is no significant relationship between the challenges in mainstreaming education for education indigenous learners and the academic performance of IP learners. Recommendations for the pupils should focus their full attention to their subjects English, Math, Araling Panlipunan, ESP, MAPE, Science Filipino, and EPP. Strive hard to learn and motivate themselves to study harder to have a better future ahead. And pupils should continue to show their love and concern and preserve their culture that will serve as their identity. For the parents, they should attend literacy program and seminars regarding responsible parenthood so that they will be able to guide their children to become responsible citizens, eradicate poverty, and avoid child labor. They should be consistent in giving their support to their children and to continue to show their love, concern, and preserve their culture that will serve as their identity. And they should constantly attend PTA meeting for them to be updated on their children's improvement in school. For the teachers, they should participate in training involving effective strategies and techniques and teaching indigenous people to awaken learners' interest in learning and improve their academic performance. They should develop indigenous instructional material to fit their interests of indigenous learners. The Department of Education should implement activities involving IP learners and their parents, such as IP Festival, within the school, district, division, regional, national, or even international level to boost their confidence and serve as inspiration to others to be globally competitive and become a part of the mainstream of society. They should provide contextualized indigenous learning materials for the learners to be more familiar with, easily understand, and assimilate the local government unit. They should provide literacy training and regular jobs for the parents of IP learners, especially those suited to their skills and abilities, and right amount of salary so that they will no longer experience poverty and they will be able to send their children to school without thinking about financial problem. They should provide educational and financial assistance to IP learners in terms of allowance and school supplies in which pupils will only focus on their study and encourage them to finish their schooling in order to arrive at much better and comfortable life. They should include all qualified IPs in PARPIS program. And for the future researcher, They should look into other factors and interventions that will enhance the aspiration, socioeconomic status, and education of pupils and parents, which will contribute to their success. And that's all. Thank you.